Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Be About It podcast. Yes, I know I missed Wednesday. It was a horrible, horrible day. I was sick. I got up and got down with a sickness. I'm just recovering. It's been a horrible week, but the show, as they say, must go on. So I feel good enough to get back on here and kind of do my thing. My voice kind of raspy, so you can hear that. But I'm back and I'm going strong. So I got a few things to talk about. Since I was sick, I was actually able to catch up on a few different shows. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But, you know, this week has been kind of a week that has been plaguing this house with all kinds of sickness. That and the work. I kid you not. I think I accidentally got one of my coworkers sick, and I felt bad about it for a second. I was like, then, I didn't feel real bad because I was already feeling bad. So then I kind of just went ahead and just did my thing. But yeah, Wednesday I was out. I came home, I laid up, and I was out of it all damn night and day. That's why I was not on here. So thank you everybody that's tuning in this week, and I apologize. I hope that doesn't happen again. Next time I'll try to get on here and be sick with you. I guess it happens. But I was like, even today on Sunday, the wife is down with some food poisoning. She's been looking all kinds of pleasantness on today. I've been holding hair back more times today than I have my entire life. I mean, she has been at that thing. Dogs, and we found out today, if you have dogs, then you are seriously, okay, we had a dog. We have a little lab pit mutt. I mean, she's a mutt. She's a pain in the ass, but damn it, she's the most lovable dog you'll ever have. And we found out today that dogs can get sick by watching you throw up. It can happen. And check this out. I mean, she was, my wife was throwing up today. I was like, and the dog was watching her and like, well, what's going on? What's going on? I got to see this. Then the dog sees it and was like, bleh, bleh, bleh. And we're like, oh shit. No, come on. So we have to rush now to get the dog from throwing up while she's throwing up. So I'm taking care of two people one person, one bitch throwing up. I was like, and I'm trying to, regulate them both. It was horrible. I was like, and me, I'm still recovering. I'm not feeling great myself, but I'm still doing it. So the whole thing pointed to me today to kind of get things going. I was handling all the housework. I was doing the laundry. I was making the beds. I was cooking the dinners. I was doing all this. And on top of all that, trying to fit in some NFL time for myself, which I'll get to in a little bit. But while I was sick, I got a chance to review some shows on Netflix. I hope y'all are watching this because this was I am hooked on this show. I seriously am. I'm not kidding at all. It is the show Obliterated. If you haven't checked it out on Netflix, you got to. And it is one of those. I mean, okay. This show is if you took Expendables and then you tagged on The Hangover and then you threw in some Weekend at Bernie's. That is what that show is. I mean, it hooks you. I haven't had a bad episode. I'm halfway through the season. I didn't get a chance to watch it all. I was in and out of it, so it was one of those kind of look in and go at it. But yeah, the actual show Obliterated is absolutely great. I love it. I have not had a least favorite episode because all of them are great. Every one of them gets better all the way through it. It has not got bad. And I haven't got all the way through, so I can't tell you how it ends yet. So no spoiler on that part. But as far as the first half of it, it is worth the watch. I mean, I seriously would sit down. Now, let me tell you one thing real quick. This is not a kid-friendly show at all. This is a show that has a lot, and I do mean a tad more than a little, of nudity, fighting, and drug use. So this is not a show you're going to want to sit down and watch with your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to whatever year old. I mean, I might be embarrassed if I was watching it in front of my 20-year-old. But I mean, I don't know. It is one of those that but it does catch you and it keeps you going, and it does actually, I was like, keeps your attention. It's funny. It's got humor and action. The cast is not a bunch of famous people thrown into this. This is a cast of kind of new people, think people that are trying on the rise that you will recognize. Now, there is one name that's been around for a hot minute. But the kind of the protagonist, the lead in this is Shelley Hennig. Now, from what people might notice about her is she was in the series Teen Wolf, and she was in the movies Ouija and Unfriended. So she is kind of like a horror scream queen in training type thing, but she kind of gets her little go ahead on this and goes forward. The second is Nick Zano. He is, if you are a fan of DC like me, he played like the Steel Man in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Then you have Paola Lazaro. Hope I got that right, because man, she's smoking. Whew. Yeah, she played Princess in The Walking Dead. Now that's what I recognize her from. Didn't recognize her in anything else. I mean, but she comes out of this, and I was happy to see her in this because I recognized her immediately. Now, the big name that has been in this is the C. Thomas Howell. That he was in E.T., he was in Red Dawn, the original, not the remake. And of course, stay golden, pony boy. Yes, he was in The Outsiders. Yes, he is that old, but he's still going strong. Now, he is actually my favorite character on this. You'll find that out why after you start watching this. And for everybody that just like kind of forgot, the name of the show is Obliterated on Netflix. No, not kid friendly at all. If you watch it with your kids, do not do that. But there's a lot of other actors that are kind of new, kind of getting things going. But to be honest, the cast has a good little mesh of people where they all complement each other, and it's not something that is going to kind of shy you away. It's going to kind of pull you in because they kind of do feed off each other. So, highly recommend this. And this show is just literally funny as hell. You have it's like a good combination of 50-50 action, 50-50 comedy, and they throw in some weird situation. You're like thinking, okay, you know what, that could actually happen, and you're kind of wondering what the hell. It takes place in Vegas, so that should tell you all you need to know about how crazy this show gets. And it starts off with a bunch of fighting, and then it goes to some comedy and some weird shit. Then it goes right back to some fighting. I mean, it's all over the place. But I'm hooked into this show. I can't wait to see how it ends. C. Thomas Howell is literally, for the love of God, stealing the show, and he has the least amount of lines. That should tell you all you need to know about his character. If he wakes up one day and he is blonde, I will literally scream to the top of my lungs, "Stay golden, pony boy. Yeah." Mm-hmm. But definitely check the show out on Netflix. For those of y'all just tuning in on TikTok, yes, I do live TikToks while I'm doing my podcast, so you can do either or. This show is Obliterated. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. And now, I know I'm late in the game on this one, but I started watching this week The Sopranos. I know, 25 years later, I'm finally watching it. It is what it is. It's because, years ago I started watching it when the first season, and I wasn't really into it. I mean, that first season didn't hook me. I was expecting like some Scorsese. I was expecting some Goodfellas, some Casino, that kind of action, but it really didn't draw me in that first season. But I was actually at home and laid up, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a shot. So I kept on watching season 1, season 2, and at the end of season 2, it kind of pulled me in. I'm like, oh my God, Tony Soprano getting a little crazy on this one now. I'm up to season 5, my favorite episode so far. Spoiler, if you are like me and haven't watched it in 20 years, I love the part where Polly and Chris get lost in the woods. That is by far my favorite episode so far. Polly loses a shoe. They're both fighting all the time. They don't know what to do. Neither one of them have any survival instincts in it. It's absolutely hilarious. And they're trying to capture a Russian in the wilderness, and this guy's supposed to be all kinds of, KGB battle trained and survival instinct. And I'm watching the show, and he has like the Russian is like there, and then he's gone, but then the rest of the show is just them two kind of being lost, trying to figure out how to survive and live. No cell service because yes, this is the early 2000s, late 90s. So cell phones Verizon was not a thing at that point. You were lucky if you had cell service all over the state. So whenever they were kind of going back and forth, and then they finally get rescued, and it's a whole big thing. But that so far has been my favorite episode to watch. Now, season 3, season 4, and season 5 I'm about to start season 5. I have not started that yet. But it seems like it is an up and down roller coaster. After season 1, I really screwed the pooch on that one. Did not watch it past season 1. I should have. I probably would have got a hook like everybody else did at that time. But Tony Soprano got into some things, kept going. It's kind of crazy, and I mean, I'm seeing you fall kind of get involved with a lot of these characters, and you're like wondering what's going to happen next. But it doesn't give you like straight storyline, except for Tony Soprano. You're kind of following him around, and everybody else is just side stories. And you kind of start to feel bad for the guy, even though he's a mobster. He's hurting people, killing people. He is kind of the bad guy, but he has real life problems. Things like me and you could relate to, like being a father, paying the bills, just figuring out how we're going to live day to day, plus managing a business. I mean, you think of mobsters, you're thinking like Goodfellas, casinos, and all that. It's really nothing like different than, we all think of ourselves in the movies. We never think about like how these guys actually react in family life. So that actually kind of pulled me in as well and was very interesting. So I have been pulled in. I've been sucked into the Soprano loop. Yes, it finally happened 25 years later. It happened. But I'm on season 5, about to start it, so I'll figure out how that's going to happen in the upcoming. I was like, I finished that. I figure I finished the season this week with my average watch time, and tell you all about how I feel. Now, all I've heard about the ending of this show is that a lot of people were very angry at it. So I'll give you my opinion whenever I finish it. So I'm going to take a quick break, save this part of the episode, get it saved, have a drink, get things settled, and then we're going to start the second portion of this podcast for you. So please hold on as I take a quick minute, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Now, for the day, today being Sunday, I mean, I was up there. I tried to watch football as best I could, but like I said earlier, I was playing Dr. Daddy, so I was taking care of the wife. But I did get to see some good, decent football today. Congrats to the Lions. The NFC Championship is set. It is going to be the 49ers and the Lions. And you know what, everybody, I am really going to root for the Lions. I know it's weird. It's completely weird. I'm going to root for the underdog. I want to see the Lions in the Super Bowl because, to be honest, nobody's seen it. And, I think it's about time we do. Don't get me wrong. I think the 49ers have the team. They have the complete team. But I am going to be rooting for Dan Campbell and the Lions because I would love to see Jared Goff take a team that he was traded to, that they thought that the team he was traded thought he couldn't win the big one. Let that man get to that show and win the big one, showing that he was every bit as good as he was supposed to be in St. Louis. And if St. Louis hadn't have traded him, might have won them one or two championships by now. But they have a massive challenge against the 49ers. I'm sorry. They have the team. They have a quarterback that is poised. They have a quarterback that is willing to take a hit if necessary. They have a running back that is ready to run for 100 yards and, again, take the hit. Probably the best running back in the league right now with Christian McCaffrey. They have receivers. They have a defense with Nick leading the charge at Nick Bosa. I mean, the 49ers are the most complete team in the NFC. Plain, simple, cut, dry. You're not going to miss that out at all. So there's no question that is what it is. But I think the Lions, being as good as they are, and they're coached well, and they all play as good as you can as a team. As I think any team in the NFL. So I think if anybody really can beat the 49ers, it will be the Lions. As weird as that is to say, I mean, they haven't won a championship. They haven't done anything. But I think the Lions are due for a Super Bowl, being in the Super Bowl. They have never been in a Super Bowl. They have won the championships, but we're talking like 80 years ago, back when they were founded and things. But the Lions have never been to a Super Bowl. I would love to see them in a Super Bowl because I want to see that in my lifetime. I think they are a city and a team that is sacrificed. They have went through the worst season in the history of NFL. They have went through so many quarterbacks that is unreal. They went through so many coaches and thinking that they're going to win. And they really have not got it all put together. But Dan Campbell, former Cowboy, I'm just going to throw that out there. Y'all do with that as you will. But Dan Campbell has really lit a fire under that team. They have put them on the map. He has made them a contender in just a couple years that nobody saw coming. He made the right trades. I mean, he traded St. Louis. St. Louis, yes, won a Super Bowl, but what did Detroit got? Detroit really got a franchise quarterback. They have draft picks to build and continue to build a team that could become a franchise if all the pieces are right. So really, Dan Campbell won that fight. He won that trade. And if he becomes a franchise and they start winning championships, it will be because they were willing to give up their number one player and their quarterback and take that gamble. Yes, they had a horrible first season, but Dan Campbell right here since then is going forward and keeping going. To be honest, you got to applaud the work that Dan Campbell has done in Detroit, because he has really taken a team that nobody expected anything from and turned it into a team that people are actually preparing for and are worried about, and now is a championship Super Bowl contender. So, Dan Campbell, you have done a wonderful job. Even if you lose next week, nobody can say anything bad about the Detroit Lions season at all. And I think next year people are going to prepare twice as hard as they did this year because of this season, because now Detroit is going to be looked at as a massive contender for championships. Now let's get on to the AFC. We have the Ravens and the Chiefs. Now, I watched the Bills and the Chiefs game. That was probably the one I saw the most of. And I got exactly what I expected. I got a shootout. I got a game. I got a lot of people that were, just fighting. This game has never disappointed me in the playoffs at all. For those of y'all who saw it a couple years ago, where Mahomes and Josh Allen in the last 4 minutes were just shooting back and forth, scoring touchdown after touchdown to try to even it up and going into overtime. The actual game was incredible. I was watching it. I was scared to turn it off or pause it or go to the bathroom. I was holding it for 3 hours. I had to. But it was a great game, and hats off to the Chiefs. They overdid it, not because of Josh Allen's play. Josh Allen did everything he could to win. The kicker missed the kick. It is what it is. You are not going to go back and forth and tell me any which way, form, or fashion. The kicker missed the kick. It was not a hard kick, but not an easy kick. It was a kick he should have made. And I think it was like a 40-yarder or something, so not something most kickers would make those on daily. But he missed it wide right. It is what it is. But outside of that, it would have went to overtime. We would have saw another little just at the end, and maybe the Bills could have won that one. But the simple truth is the Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship. If you look at Mahomes and Allen, you really see the same pattern as you saw with Brady and Manning. Both of them, great quarterbacks. Both of them you would love to have on your team and watching it. Both of them are able to win a championship, but only one has. And if you think about how many championships Brady won before Manning got over the hump and got past Brady in the championship, I kind of see the same thing happening here with Mahomes and Allen. I think it's going to happen that same way. These two are going to do battle every single year until Allen finally figures out how to beat Mahomes. And once he figures out how to beat Mahomes, he will go to the championship. I have no question at all. He is a great player, Allen. I compare Allen whenever I watch him play to how I used to get when I watched Brett Favre play. Yes, I'm not comparing him on talent to Brett Favre, but I am saying he is just that kind of player. He is one of those that you don't know how it's going to end. He will pull it down, and he will run, he will jump, he will get going, and he will make it happen just like that. And you'll never count him down. If he's less than a score away, he's happy to run the ball and keep going. He'll do whatever it takes to win. Unlike other quarterbacks that slide, you see Josh Allen going head first, trying to get every yard he can. He is a winner. He will eventually win a championship. I think he will bring one to Buffalo for the first time. And I'm anxious to see his journey too. And I'm going to watch every game he's in just because he is exciting to watch. Now, my pick for this. Now, when I was watching the Bills game, the cameraman should get slapped for this, but he found the one guy that was crying, pulling his little hoodie over, wanting to, show his tear. Didn't want to show his tears on TV, but the cameraman found him, and I was just like, man, that's such a dick move. But it showed how much the Bills were kind of invested in this, and they thought that they actually had it. So, the Bills fans, it was in Buffalo. They thought they were finally getting Mahomes. But you can't beat Mahomes and Kelsey on a good day. And they had a good day. They had everything. Jason Kelsey up in there, shirt off, beer in hand. I know y'all saw that, and I was thinking to myself, I want to party with that guy. That guy knows how to drink. And I was like, but outside of that, I'm going to think for my TikTok fans, yes, I would like a ton of likes. Please like and share me. But as far as my picks for the championships next week, I'm rooting for the Lions, but I got to pick the 49ers. I don't think anybody can really beat them. I think they have the most complete team. I'll be cheering on the Lions, to be honest, but I don't think they're going to have what it takes to beat the overall of the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Now, I think the AFC game is going to be a better game because I think I don't think it's going to be as good as everybody is saying, because Lamar Jackson's talent revolves around him throwing for 120, 150 yards and running for 100. I don't think he's going to be able to run for 100 on the Chiefs defense. But I think Mahomes will still be able to throw for 300 against the Ravens defense. So I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs. I know everybody's thinking the Ravens have the best team. I do not think so. I think that the Chiefs have a better team. Definitely think they have a better coach, but by a slim margin. Don't get me wrong. Harbaugh is great, but I think Andy Reid just has a little extra that's going to drive him over the edge on it. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs. They are going to be the the underdog going into this game. But I think the Chiefs will upset the Ravens, go on to play the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So that is my picks. Take that for what you will, and we will run with that. But I'm going to go back to this thing about Jason Kelce. Last week he was losing. He lost. He's done. He's retired now. So he is officially off the market as far as it goes with the NFL. I was like, he had his run with the Eagles, loved it. And he really, loves the game, but he walked away. He was done. But he is still there cheering on his brother. No, to be honest, they didn't go to Taylor Swift. They showed Jason Kelce. And I'm glad they did because, man, that man, you can tell he was enjoying watching his brother play. It is awesome to see that kind of support, especially from family. He could be down. He could have stayed at home, watched the game from home. But no, he was right there in Buffalo cheering on his brother. You got to appreciate that. Even though he's just retired, he's done. And, he's probably young enough and strong enough. He could have played a while back. But we wouldn't have got shirtless Jason Kelce on TV right in front of Taylor Swift with a beer in hand doing the party guy look. And to be honest, that was worth it. That was what was awesome about it. I was like, but on that note, I am going to, call this a night. It has been a fun. I have gotten back in this. And again, we go on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, every Sunday night, post our podcast on Thursday and Sunday or Monday. Please tune in, like, and follow the show. And again, as I always say, I'll talk about it. You be about it.